clowns. Welcome to Cremnelia Street. I'm Sam.
And I'm Tori. And this week we are talking about the Queen Mary, which is the boat, not the lady. They both do exist, but we're talking about the boat.
Gotcha. Awesome.
This episode's going to be shorter. So what's going on this week for you?
Not much. Just getting through school still and living the dream. Sometimes I hate it when people said that, and here I am saying that, so, you know.
Nice. Yeah, my week's been pretty... I have this week off work, so that's kind of nice. Just kind of taking it easy. I took a nap yesterday.
Ooh.
That was... Yeah, I can't remember the last time I had a nap, and that did wonders for me. I feel whole.
Oh my gosh, I bet. It's like when you're a kid or a toddler, you don't realize how good that you have it to be able to have, or a baby, you know, to have a scheduled nap every day. Like, I would love that.
So much. I would love that. Yeah,
oh my goodness.
Finley doesn't seem to appreciate it as much as I do.
Yep. That's the way she goes.
So this week we're talking about the Queen Mary. It's a big boat. It is an ocean liner. It has been deemed one of the most haunted places in America. And what hasn't, though?
Yeah. We're all just on ancient burial grounds pretty much, so.
Right. This episode's going to be a little like lighter and fluffier too. It's more paranormal. There is some like a couple like actual documented deaths. For the most part, it's like mostly speculation and just like paranormal experiences and a little bit of history, which is fun. So 1936 to 1967, the Queen Mary functioned as an ocean liner. So it was taking trips across the ocean. I think always the Atlantic too. So it was going from like New York to like Europe and the Middle East and stuff. Now, after 1967 onward, it is docked in Long Beach, California as a tourist attraction and a hotel. And I actually stayed in the hotel.
What?
Yeah, it was 2017 or 2016. I almost said 2027.
Not yet, Tori, not yet.
Not yet. But yeah, it had to be 2016 or 17, I think. I don't know. But anyways, it was really cool. We got like the little audio tour things, and me and my stepdad went around and made sure to do the tour at night. So it felt a little spookier. And then there's like one room that's like the most haunted, and we like Googled it to figure it out, and they had that room closed when I stayed there, but I guess it's open now to the public. And if you like rent it out now, it comes with like a Ouija board and like things to like connect with the spirits and like a file on like paranormal experiences that happened in there and stuff like that. When we went there, they didn't even have it marked as that room number because they said it was like too dangerous or whatever.
Dang, that is so cool though. Wow. Did you like know the history about it before you went on it, or were you just like, oh, this is like something we're gonna do, this looks cool type of thing?
I did, yeah. I told I can't remember, I think my mom put me in charge of like finding hotels. So
you're like, perfect.
And she usually likes to stay in like 5-star hotels and stuff too. And I picked this retired
amazing.
ocean liner floating.
Haunted.
Yeah. And it definitely wasn't 5-star in there. I mean, it was adequate for my liking, but I think there were some complaints if I remember correctly. But me and my dad had a blast. Because we're both like into the history and like the spooky side of it. And we went and like found the haunted room because like you could obviously, you know what the room number is, so you can see the rooms around it. Like it's kind of silly they took the number off of
right.
room.
It's just like when hotels get rid of the 13th floor.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like there's still a 13th floor. Like, I'm sorry.
Funny you bring that up because 13 plays a part in today's tale.
I love that. Okay.
So, construction of the Queen Mary began in 1930 by Cunard White Star Line, which was like the company that made the cruise liners. It was halted for a couple of years because of the Great Depression, and then work finally completed, and the Queen Mary took its first voyage in 1936. There's a kind of fun legend of the name, but I couldn't find anything to actually like back this up besides like this being on the Queen Mary's website. But the legend of the name, Cunard was presenting the ship to the crown for naming and said that they wanted to name it after the greatest queen Britain ever had, thinking of Victoria, which kind of follows the convention of keeping the IA at the end, like the Britannica, and I think it was Mauritania. There's a bunch of them that had like IA at the end. And then the King of England at the time responded with, well, his wife at the time was Queen Mary, and he responded with, "Oh, well, my wife would be thrilled that you're naming the ship after her." So that's funny. I guess you don't really tell a king like, no, that's not what we meant. So they just kind of went with Queen Mary.
Nice.
So the legend
see what he
says.
did there.
Yeah. It was the fastest ocean liner of its time, and it was just pretty spectacular inside. It had 5 dining areas and lounges, 2 cocktail bars, multiple swimming pools, I think 3, a grand ballroom, which ended up being converted into a hospital wing as well during wartime, a squash court, what is that? Squash?
I think it's like something kind of like tennis, maybe. I think it's in that realm of
interesting
sport.
Okay, so like pickleball before
sure.
pickleball. Okay. And it had a small hospital on board as well. Quite a few celebrities stayed on the Queen Mary, such as Bob Hope, Clark Gable, the Duke and Duchess of Windsor, and Winston Churchill was on the boat a few times as well. It's believed that 49 people died on the Queen Mary while she was at sea, not including wartime. Ooh, okay. 2 of those people are documented as not natural causes, and then the other 47 are documented as natural causes. And again, this is only like what's been documented. I don't think we have the wartime documents, is kind of what I gathered based on the wording of most of the sources. So New York, September 1939, after 3 years of sailing, the Queen Mary docked after her 143rd Atlantic crossing and would not be carrying civilian passengers for another 8 years. The last trip across the Atlantic was pretty stressful because they knew that war was about to be declared. So I think they were even bringing like refugees from Europe over to the States. And they had painted the portholes on the ship gray too, so that other ships couldn't see the light coming from the boat at night. So it was a bit of a stressful last voyage, but they did make it back safely. From there, the Queen Mary sat for a few years in New York, and then it went to Australia to be outfitted for war. World War II had begun at this point. They painted the ship gray, and in wartime, because it was so fast and it was painted gray, it was referred to as the Gray Ghost. They did a bunch of renovations to the ship. 2,000 stateroom doors were removed, I guess, and they put in like 3 deck bunk beds pretty much. The amount of people they fit on this boat is insane, and I'll get a little bit more into that. But the kitchens and bathrooms were enlarged to accommodate more people. The stores were converted into military offices. They added blast shutters over the windows. The transformation happened in 2 weeks. The original capacity was 2,030 people, and the maximum wartime capacity was 15,740 people. And the ship regularly had 15,000 people on it at a time on voyages. So it was built for 2,000.
Oh my gosh.
15,000 on. People were like sleeping on the deck in the sun. They could only have that many people in the summer because people had to sleep outside on the deck.
That is crazy. That's like a small city, like small town.
15,000 people.
Damn.
That's crazy. I think Grants Pass is 30,000.
Can you imagine? And packed like sardines.
For real, yeah. The ship was so fast, and and it could hold so many people that Hitler had actually put out a reward for sinking the Queen Mary at the time. It's rumored that he was offering $250,000 and the Iron Cross with oak leaves, which is like the highest honor in the Nazi military. And he was offering that to any sub-captain who could successfully torpedo the Queen Mary, but no one ever did. The Queen Mary was too hard to catch, and she would use a zigzag pattern while sailing during wartime, which made it pretty much impossible for anyone to catch her. But one of the things that they probably should have done when they refitted the boat for wartime was put in AC, and they did not, because the ship was usually going through the Atlantic, which is pretty cold temperatures. And now the ship was going through more tropical areas like the Middle East and such, and it was so boiling downstairs and below deck. It would get up to like 110 below deck sometimes. And many soldiers, I couldn't find a number, but I just kept seeing the word many used. Soldiers died of heat exhaustion, and the heat caused near mutinies. Some soldiers even threw themselves off the ship.
Oh, man.
And there's like rumors too about people like going like mad kind of from the heat as well.
Wow.
So pretty rough condition. There was one point when a vessel, the Curacao, was kind of ahead of, it was a British cruiser, so they were on the same side, and it was a veteran of World War One, the ship was, and it was heading towards Scotland ahead of the Queen Mary. The cruiser's skipper signaled to the Queen Mary that he'd be taking station about 5 miles ahead of the Queen Mary, and there'd be 6 other destroyers taking up station around him, flanking the cruiser a few miles on either side of the liner. For 5 hours, they all moved towards Scotland. But even though the Queen Mary was sailing in her zigzag pattern, she was still so fast that she ended up gaining too much speed on the ship ahead of her. And the senior first officer of the Queen Mary at the time got nervous and tried to turn the Queen Mary away from the Curacao. And the Curacao also turned towards the Queen Mary at the same time. And the Curacao got right into the Queen Mary's path pretty much. And the Queen Mary pretty much sliced the boat in half. And they said it was like a crazy clean cut as well, which is wow, because the ship was just moving so fast and so much heavier than the other one. The captain of the Queen Mary sent a message to the rest of the convoy to go back and pick up survivors, because the Queen Mary couldn't stop because it was under such strict orders to continue the zigzag pattern. And with possibly 15,000 soldiers on board, it's putting all of those lives at risk if it stops as well. So Queen Mary kept going. The other boats in the convoy got to the scene within minutes. Unfortunately, only 101 of the 439 people were saved. So 338 people passed away in that incident. A court determined the fault of the accident was 1/3 the Queen Mary's crew and then 2/3 the Curacao's crew. The collision made an 11-foot hole in the Queen Mary, and the speed of the boat was causing water to rush in, flooding the ship. They had to slow the ship down, which slowed the flooding, and they went to Scotland for emergency repairs. The hole was never fully fixed until after the war, when she was refitted for peacetime. Some other neat facts about the Queen Mary during wartime: she was the war room for the Battle of Normandy, and Churchill used the Queen Mary to move between Allied forces. I think he was on it 3 or 4 times, and the D-Day Declaration was signed on the Queen Mary to attack Normandy. So that was a cool little fact I didn't know before.
Yeah, for sure.
After the war, the Queen Mary was used to transport soldiers and their wartime brides home. It was used as part of Operation War Bride to get all the war brides and their children home to the United States. So I guess the soldiers had babies and met people while they were out and about and wanted to bring them home. And there were actually like a bunch of like acts and stuff that had to go through Congress to like fight to get those people back, which is interesting.
Yeah.
The Queen Mary was refitted for peacetime from 1946 to 1947. At this point, they did add AC. It was a great idea.
Yes. Yep. Step in the right direction.
Yes. Unfortunately, as air travel became more popular, though, cruise travel did decline. In 1967, the Queen Mary was retired, And the Cunard White Star Line sold the Queen Mary to the city of Long Beach, California. I guess Long Beach was trying to like improve their like historic districts at the time. So that was their incentive in buying the Queen Mary, to use it as like a tourist stop and a museum. During her time at sea, the Queen Mary carried 2.2 million passengers in peacetime and 800,000 military personnel during World War II. Since parked in Long Beach, the ship has had 50 million visitors. So now
You're one of them.
I'm one of them. Yeah. Look at that. That's pretty cool. So the ghosties, we're going to talk about the ghosties a bit. There's like a couple characters of ghosties that are like, you know, seen repeatedly, but there's just a ton that have just been like one-off occurrences. I think it was like 150 known like different spirits that I saw in one of the sources. In 1985, members of the Orange County Society of Physics went on board the Queen Mary to have seances, and paranormal experts joined them in investigations took place. One of the spirits that they encountered during the seances was William Ed Stark, who was a senior officer from Sunderland, England during World War II. His time on the Queen Mary started in 1947. And he experienced the last 2 years of his life on the ship. In 1949, the Queen Mary left New York Harbor, and 8 days later, when it reached Southampton, Stark was dead. He died of poisoning, but it was accidental. He grabbed what he thought was a bottle of gin, and ended up being a cleaning solution. Yeah. And then the other guys who were drinking with him that night, like they all kind of started realizing something was going on, and they all got their stomachs pumped, but he refused to get his stomach pumped and got the real gin and kept drinking.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess you could easily confuse gin for cleaning.
Yeah, because they both taste
like,
gross,
it's like,
right?
Right. They're so like kind of floral, herbally, smelly.
Mm-hmm. And who knows what the cleaning solutions were back then too, you know?
Right.
But yeah, he suffered for like quite some, I think it was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days or something. And then by the time he actually wanted to get his stomach pumped, like the poison had gone through his system too much to be effective. Yeah. He died 2 days before his 31st birthday. People staying in the
young.
Yeah, right? There's quite a few young deaths on the boat. People staying in the hotel said that they hear cabinets banging at night, and they think that it's Stark's ghost looking for more gin. The most haunted room on the boat is B340. In 1948, Walter J. Adamson passed away in the room, but there's no record of like why or what caused it. We just know that he did pass away. And this is the room that was like closed for some time, but now they have it open back up to stay in. 1966, a woman who was sleeping in that room in the middle of the night felt the blankets being tugged off of her, and she would tug them back and then felt them getting tugged off of her again, and she kind of went through this little tugging war and then realized, wait a minute, I'm alone. What's happening?
This is weird.
Yeah. So she woke up and saw a man standing over her bed, and she screamed out loud. The man disappeared. Hotel staff came to see what happened when she screamed and said that they didn't see anyone like pass them on the way out either. So it's thought to be Walter. The guest
Looking for gin.
Right. No, Walter, we don't know why he died. The gin person.
Yes.
Yeah, no. Sorry.
The other guy.
Yeah, the
He
gin
probably
person
was at the time.
is Stark.
Anyway.
Right. Mm-hmm. So guests who stay in room B340 have reported bathroom lights turning on and off on their own, and someone knocking on the door in the middle of the night. Do not like that. I don't want anyone standing over my bed, and I don't want anyone knocking on the, like, never, not even during the day. Don't knock on my door.
Yeah, and leave my blankies alone, please, sir.
Touch the blankies. Blankies are off limits.
Yes.
Hotel maids have said that the bathroom water was running for days when the bathroom water was found running when no one had been staying in the room for days. Sunday, July 10th, 1966. This is one of the two actually like documented cases we have with like some detail as well. Sunday, July 10th, 1966, a man was found trapped in a watertight door at 4 a.m. And when I say trapped, he wasn't like behind the door, he was in the door. Like he got crushed.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah. At 4:07 the door was opened from the bridge, and the life of 18-year-old John Pater came to an abrupt end. He's the most famous ghost on the ship, and they call him the Shaft Alley Spectre. And I guess the Shaft Alley is like the corridor that had all these doors in them. Now, one of the interesting points too about this story is this was door number 13.
There it is.
There it is. And so the doors, they're watertight doors that would automatically shut in an emergency, but they would run drills too, and like the sirens would go off, and then you'd know that the doors were closing. So the emergency alarm did go off on this day, and no one knows what happened or why he got caught in the door. People now hear sound of metal clanging against the walls and the doorways, and it's thought to be attributed to John. And they also see sightings of a young man wearing overalls, and he was 18 years old and wore overalls. Another 18-year-old fireman from Skipton, Yorkshire, met his death trying to squeeze through the same watertight door number 13.
Come on, people. Don't be doing this.
Come on. There was like one of the sources I listened to too, and I can't remember if it was John Pater or this person, but they said that maybe they were playing chicken or like some game of chicken, but I have no idea where that came from or how accurate that is. Yeah, the question is like, why did he take such a risk on something that was routine for them? His spirit is often seen or felt near the watertight door that took his life. There's also a ghost named Jackie, who's a young girl. She haunts the second-class pool. Jackie has been seen and heard. The girl is thought to have drowned in the ship's pool while sailing. Her voice and laughter have been captured, I guess, on the, what is it called? It's
that
the thing
thingy that they use
to actually record like ghosties, yeah, and like their voices. The thing is though, there's no actually like documented drownings to have occurred on the ship, so it's hard to tell how accurate the backstory for Jackie's ghost is. There's also an old lady with a swimming cap and a swimsuit spotted who haunts the pool as well. There is the ghost of Mrs. Turner, who came through during one of the seances that they held on the ship. She's a freckled woman with auburn hair in charge of the switchboard located on deck, which is actually the largest switchboard ever installed on an ocean liner.
Oh, fun. Fun fact.
It's suspected that hasn't moved on yet because one of the voyages I guess she was on had like so many calls to and from the ship that they never even got made. So people say that she didn't move on because she's still trying to complete the backlogged calls. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know,
oh dear.
Right? In 1988, the assistant manager of the Queen Mary received a letter from a couple in England that said they had sailed on the Queen Mary in 1958 on their honeymoon, and they wanted to celebrate their 30th wedding anniversary on the ship and requested the same room that they stayed in when they got married. Since the room numbers had changed throughout the years, the assistant manager had to search the records to see which room it was that they had stayed in and if the room was still in use as a room. It was, and he reserved the room for the couple and assured them that everything would be ready on their arrival. On the day of the couple's arrival, the assistant manager was behind the desk. The couple, when they saw the assistant manager, froze and would not approach him or speak to him or have anything to do with him. He didn't know what was going on. He went into the back eventually, and then his manager came up to him and told him to take the next 3 days off paid, but offered no explanation as to why. The assistant manager left, not knowing why he was being sent home, and he returned from his vacation a half a day early because someone had called in sick, and he was behind the front desk when the couple came up to check out. Again, they froze when they saw the assistant manager, and he was confused. After a long, awkward silence, the woman approached him and began to explain that in 1958, when they originally were on the ship, each passenger was serviced by a steward. Instead of giving them a tip, like for each day or each thing that they do for you, you give them a tip at the end, which I think is still standard on cruises. except you get like one concierge for like a group of rooms, but it sounds like it used to be just one steward for one room. But they went to find their steward at the end of the ship to give him the envelope with the tip in it, and they couldn't find the steward. Eventually they found out that the steward had fell ill before the Queen Mary docked and was taken off the ship to a hospital where he then died. The couple had never seen the steward again until they ran into the assistant manager, and he was a spitting image of the steward that they had back in 1958. And then the weirdest thing about it is the steward died in 1958 on the same day that the assistant manager was born.
Whoa.
I got goosebumps.
That is pretty crazy. Yeah, same.
Isn't that wild?
That's insane. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a room called the Queen's Salon. That's such a, I don't know why that word sounds so weird to me. I want to say saloon.
Right. Salon.
But the Queen's Salon is known to have a lot of paranormal experiences. In 2001, a member of the accounting staff came in early to work at 5:30 a.m. but felt like something was off. She sat at her desk and felt unusually cold. Later, she felt something brush against the back of her chair, but no one was there. Minutes after that, the woman saw a transparent figure in white walk through the room and pass through the door. The employee left the room until her coworkers arrived, that's a good thing to do.
I would do the same.
Same. And this also used to be the first class lounge to what's now the Queen's Salon. Also known to have happened there, the sounds of footsteps and sobbing, and a pretty woman in an elegant white evening gown that has been seen dancing alone by herself. So tragic.
Yeah.
The first and second class pools are popular ghosty spots. The first class swimming pool has been closed for decades. Women often appear in 1930s style swimsuits. Some have heard splashing and seen wet footprints from the deck leading into the changing rooms. And some people have also seen an apparition of a small girl holding her teddy bear, which that's a nah for me, dog. Why does she have her teddy bear at the pool? What is she What is she doing?
Her stuffy. Yeah.
I don't like it.
Oh, honey. Right. No thanks.
And then the second class pool is haunted by the young girl Jackie that we already spoke about. In the boiler room, a little girl is seen with a doll in hand and sometimes sucking her thumb.
Not creepy at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I think the doll is worse than the teddy bear too, I have to say.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm picturing like the fluttering eye, you know?
Yeah.
The lady in white is a known apparition on the ship. She was found outside. There's a woman in her 50s who was found outside of her cabin bleeding out, who did pass away. It was never determined whether it was suicide or someone killed her, and I couldn't find any more information on that. So,
suspicious.
Yeah. Some other spooky occurrences: phones ringing in the early morning hours. In third-class children's playroom, a baby's cry has often been heard, which is thought to be an infant boy that died soon after his birth on the ship. In a seance, they end up engaging with someone who was an Italian prisoner of war and was being held on board. The apparition described the doctor on the ship having cut off his legs, and the person was overheating due to the no air conditioning. So it sounds like a bit of a torture.
Oh, God.
Churchill's spirit has also been seen.
Huh.
Which that tracks, I think.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a show called The Holzer Files, which is like paranormal investigation type of show. And they actually went to the Queen Mary during COVID when it was shut off to the public. And they have theories that the usual spirits that were there have been replaced by more aggressive and evil spirits because there's less people on the boat to like keep the energy at bay or something.
Like less good energy.
Yes, yeah. That is what they said actually. Yeah. Yeah, they went and like did an investigation, stayed overnight, and that was kind of fun to watch. Oh, and then just a little fun fact to tie it up. Disney owned or leased the ship. I couldn't tell if it was owned or leased. I kind of saw sources that said both, from 1988 to 1992. And it was going to be an attraction called Port Disney. And then it ended up not being very successful, and Disney ended up, I think, going with another venture in Long Beach, so they let that go. But there were rumors that Disney had tricked out the haunted room, so B340, with like audio and visual equipment to like hype up the experience of people staying in the hotel. And then it was rumored that like that equipment was left as well after Disney, and there was some amount of time that that equipment was probably still used after Disney didn't own it anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that's it.
Whoa, what a gal. She's a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I want to go back after reading. It was so cool being on board because you just feel like a part of history, and like just the architecture, and it was very beautiful.
I was gonna say, like, it went through, you know, the World War and everything, and you were like on it, like you walked the same halls that all those people did, and
15,000 at a time.
That is crazy. Did you feel any kind of like paranormal goosebumps or anything?
And I was welcoming it too, but yeah, we didn't really have anything spooky. I mean, the whole like air of the place is a bit spooky, but like nothing, no like banging or clanging or anything, no apparitions. Unfortunately.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that's why we have these wonderful recounted stories from others to
Exactly. Yep. Would you, if you got the opportunity, would you stay in B340?
Oh man, I think I would. I mean, probably.
I think I would.
If they start, right. Yeah, we would do it together, you know.
For sure.
But the moment the blankies are touched, once again,
we're out.
We're out of there.
So fast. I don't think I'd sleep well, but I would go.
Right, for sure. Yeah.
I've
never
even
like used a Ouija board either, so that would be like,
I don't know if I can.
I don't know.
I don't know if I can do the Ouija. I'm scared of it.
Yeah. Because it's like you hear the people who have had like crazy experiences, and then you hear like stories of like kids playing with them, and then you find out like the older brother or something was just like fucking with the kid or their, you know, siblings the entire time or whatever. So it's like, what is it?
I know.
I don't know.
And I'm too scared to find out for myself.
Right. For sure. But yeah, I think I would do it.
Yeah. Nice. Maybe we'll have to add that to our bucket list.
Ooh, yes. Girls trip.
Girls trip. See the queen.
Yes, of course. She's a girly.
So I feel like our Swiftie palette, what is usually a palette cleanser, the Swiftie news isn't very happy.
I know. Yeah, that is super sad. I was actually, as we were starting this today, I'm like, oh man, I don't really have anything that's like on the noggin, you know?
Yeah.
About it. I mean, other than that awful thing that happened yesterday.
And what was it called? The place? I forget. Was it Stockholm? Stockholm stabbing? Is that right? Stockton?
I'm not
I think Stockton.
I think it is. Yeah. I actually did see, so her next stop is in Warsaw, Poland. And do you remember a few months ago, I can't remember where it was. It was on her Europe leg of the tour, but these like environmentalists, like climate activists, broke into where her private jet was stored.
Oh, yeah.
And they threw paint on what they thought was her jet, but it actually wasn't.
Oh.
But these like Warsaw like climate activists tweeted something and was like, are you ready for it? And they're pretty much saying that they're gonna like make something happen, like,
oh my gosh,
while she's there. And it's just like, given, I'm not like trying to equate this like mass stabbing equating to like them, you know, speaking up for the climate, which great, but like let these like, especially the children, like let them have like this moment. Don't go in there and throw paint on Taylor Swift or something. Like there's all these like rumors about what they're gonna do, but it's just like, come on.
Yeah,
this
like,
is why we can't have nice things.
Especially right now too. Like, yeah. Should we like go over a little bit what happened? I mean, there's not much information out there. Pretty much we're recording on July 30th, and I believe this happened last night, right?
Yeah, yesterday.
July 29th. And there was some kind of mass stabbing at a Taylor Swift-themed dance class or dance, just like dance get-together. I've seen both.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, me too.
And yeah, I think it's 2 children deceased, 9 children injured, and then 2 adults injured. It's just so sad. And a stabbing too.
Yeah, like what a monster, dude. Like,
yeah, it's so sad.
I actually haven't even, hopefully they caught whoever did it.
They have apprehended someone. I did see that there were some like news sources, I guess, that were releasing like names and ethnicity of the person that was incorrect.
Ooh, that's dangerous.
Yeah, and then but the police came out and said that was incorrect, but I think now they do have someone in custody. But I don't think they've said who or like given any information as last that I saw.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's not much out there on that, but just super sad. I felt like we kind of have to mention it being Swiftie and true crime, but like it's just awful.
It's just devastating. I can't imagine like the parents like just wanting to bring your kid, oh my god, to
and like that's such a
fun
safe
little
thing
event.
Yeah, you know, you would think that that's such a safe thing, going to just like a Taylor Swift dance thing.
Yeah,
that's
and
so
some
upsetting.
monster comes along. Yeah, it sucks to say the least. And you know, of course, hopefully the children can recover that have been injured as well. And then hopefully it's
the trauma
the
too.
people that witnessed it. Exactly. Like, what can you yeah, it's
just terrible. What a monster. I hope they got the right person.
Same.
Yeah, so not much of a palate cleanser. Do we have anything happy in the Swiftie world? I feel like not much has been going on lately. We're still clowning.
Just kind of in limbo. Yeah, we're still clowning as usual. But yeah, it's like this weird limbo period. But I do feel like if it doesn't happen on it's like August the 2nd, I feel like the next big date is the last show in London.
Okay. And what date is that?
I believe is August the 20th before she goes on break.
Okay. And then there was that, you know how I'm an August diehard for something to do with Reputation.
Yeah, you've been saying that from the beginning. Yes.
There was something she posted and it had, I can't remember what the post was, but it had August as the song. Do you remember what that was? We were talking about it in Band of...
Yeah.
Can I search? I can search.
And it is
text,
Tuesday,
right?
August the 20th, by the way, is the last show before the break.
Oh, a Tuesday. That's strange.
Yeah. But I believe 1989, when it was released last year, was also kind of on an odd day.
Okay.
Like that. It was on August the 9th, which was a Wednesday.
Okay.
And my show was on August the 5th. I was clowning so hard.
I
but
know.
It's fine.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, because there's one post that she did. It's like, it's August, get in the car. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, it wasn't even. I remember sending it to you guys for some other reason. And then Amber goes, oh yeah, and there's August. Like, did you realize that August is the song that went with it? Because I didn't have volume on, so I didn't even hear it or notice that there was a song like attached to the post. Okay, Taylor Nation posted, I'm currently practicing our TS the Eras tour choreography for the Swiftie summer streaming party that they did. So that thing on Station had. And I had shared that with you guys. Remember, or Show shared it. And she was saying, is it going to be Reputation? Like, she's just going to stream Reputation Taylor's version, which I wish. But the song playing in the background is August. Which is they're not doing that on accident.
I don't think so. How could it?
And there's no reason.
How could it be?
Right. And there's no reason for it to be August over other songs, I feel like.
Right. Because it's not really a hype song either if you're trying to get people excited for things.
It's almost like the, we'll keep the Christmas lights up till February.
Right.
August. I'm saying August.
August. Winds in the east, y'all. For sure. And then, dude... Well, it's like I don't know all the intricacies of this, but there are, in her last Instagram post on Taylor Swift, she says like fuzzy hair me, that's all capitalized.
Oh,
and like
I didn't realize
people
that.
were matching up the letters with like the placement they are, like the number they are on the alphabet, and it means something.
It's me. Oh yeah, I didn't realize.
It ends up meaning something.
How'd I miss that? Because I remember reading that and I was like, that's interesting for her to like talk about the fuzzy, because she's had fuzzy hair in so many of the shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and sometimes she usually has said like curly hair, but this time she capitalized like fuzzy hair me, which could make sense because that's just like, you know, what she's saying, but it could also mean something.
It has to. Why would you capitalize it?
Mm-hmm. But I am wondering, like, when she, I know, it's so funny. It's fine though. It's fine. But like when she announced 1989, she started wearing like all blue sets that day, and like when she came out in the all blue 1989, everyone went wild.
What
right?
a moment
so
that
it's
was.
Like, dude, epic. So epic. And also what was funny is, like, you know how on TikTok Live people can send gifts and stuff? Like gifts to the person, and it's like a hat or something. I was watching this one stream where right as soon as she announced it, someone sent one of the gifts that's like a corgi. It's like a cartoon corgi like jumping across the screen. And so the girl was like so confused. She's like, wait, what? Because it looked like, I want to, you know, show you 1989, and it's like this cartoon corgi that fit perfectly, and she was so confused. I'll have to send it to you because it was hilarious.
That is funny.
Yeah, but I also just wonder, like, when she does Reputation, because, like, on the 20th, probably, is she going to do it in all black? Like, is she going to come out in, like, all black 1989? Or will it be, like, green?
Or a different suit, different Reputation suit.
Be, swear to God, if she wears the same Reputation outfit for the release, I will be upset.
Honestly, same. Like, no, we're...
Right.
No, what is it? Reputation?
Yeah, reputation.
There it is, yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, Taylor. This is where we are chanting more because we just need at least one more. Like, give her a break. Give that outfit a break.
Yeah,
like,
we're ready for it.
Exactly. Because, like, she has different outfits for the other eras. So
right. And there's a reason she hasn't done different. There has to be.
There has to be.
Have you noticed that I think the one-legged, one-armed bodysuit is a reference back to one of the Reputation stadium tour outfits? Do you know which one I'm talking about? It's like the long skirt. Okay. I just like noticed that, I don't know, maybe like 6 months ago.
I'm so sad they took it off of Netflix because that was a really...
Right when I started really getting into Reputation, they took it away from me. Like, give it back. Someone give it back.
Cool.
It's out there.
Disney Plus it or something. Exactly. Like,
and it's so weird to me too that Miss Americana is still on Netflix, but everything else seems to be Disney Plus. Anyways.
Right. It's interesting. And then I am also really, I probably said this a million times, but where is Debut?
It's coming out. We're gonna get an announcement, I think, probably October-ish, and it's gonna be released December.
I do love that, but also, like, where is Debut and why isn't it featured on the Eras Tour except in the surprise songs?
Yeah.
Like,
I think it was just a time thing and probably like the least hyped album maybe, but I don't know. I like Debut like as much as Speak Now, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, it's probably the one I've listened to the least, but I am looking forward to listening to it more once it is released. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I think the vault tracks are going to be really cute on that one.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I did see someone say, like, maybe her version of Debut is the surprise songs because in the beginning it was just her kind of with a guitar, you know, although she does use a piano as well. But it's like maybe that's like a tribute to that time.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's a cute little sentiment, but I don't know.
I don't think so.
You know,
I think it was just a timing thing.
True.
But yeah, it was.
But they did put in Tortured Poets, so if they could sneak that in.
That's a good point, yeah. Things to think about. The things.
Woo. Right. The things that make us go,
So you can follow us on TikTok at crimenelia.st for street. Follow us on Instagram at crimeneliastreet, spelled out. And send us an email at crimeneliast@gmail.com.
And till next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.